Hello students, the HP Kapadia group of schools along with GSTV presenting a very helpful and helpful for the students who are appearing for the board examination 2021-22. In the last session, we have completed the detailed discussion of chapter 1. In this session, we are continuing with chapter 2 and I will explain all the important topics of this particular each and every lesson. So we are starting our session. Chapter number 2, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. In this chapter, we will learn about what are the methods, what are the different events of sexual reproduction in a flowering plant. The most important question, that is the reproductive parts of a flower, this question can be asked for board examination. When this question is asking, then you have to draw this figure and I am going to tell you what are the parts of a reproductive parts of a flower. You know that a flower consists of basically 4 whorls. That is the outer whorl, which is called calyx, and then corolla, then androecium and gynoecium. Now I am showing you each one. So this one is called calyx, which is normally green in color, and this calyx is made up of sepal. And the colorful part of a flower, that is called corolla. Why it is colorful? To attract the pollinating agent, because the pollinating agents like insects, birds, they have to visit the flower, then only pollination will take place. And these two are accessory whorls. So what is the meaning of accessory whorl? The whorls which are not directly involved in the process of reproduction, but they are doing some help in the process of reproduction. For example, attracting pollinating agents. Now we are discussing what are the essential whorls of a flower. The most important, the first one, that is the female reproductive part, that is called mainly the carpel. A carpel consists of basically 3 parts. First one, the lower part, that is called ovary, which consists of ovule. After fertilization, this ovule will convert it into seed. And this elongated tube-like part, which is called style, through which the pollen tube is passing. And then the uppermost part, which is called stigma, that is the seat of pollen grain. When the pollen grain landed on the stigma, then only there will be pollen germination, and this process is the starting process of the fertilization in a flower. So these are the different parts of a flower, and this is a very important question. This can be asked for 3 marks. Now, what about the second topic? The second most important topic of this chapter is microsporangium. Microsporangium is a male reproductive structure. It is producing male pollen grain, that is the male gametes or pollen grain. So in this, what is the most important thing? That is, what is the structure of a microsporangium? This is also a very important thing, and this can be asked for 3 marks. When this question is asking, compulsorily you have to do the diagram. Now I am telling what are the important parts of microsporangium. The first one, it consists of basically the outermost layer, which is called epidermis. Epidermis is a multi-layered structure and that is protective in function. Below the epidermis, the next layer is called endothecium. Epi means outside, endo means inside. So this is the layer which is lying below the epidermis. And the third layer, that is middle layers, which are normally 3 to 4 layers. All these layers, that is epidermis, endothecium, middle layers, they are normally protective in function. They are protecting the microsporangium from different types of external or mechanical shocks. Now, the innermost layer of the microsporangium, that is called tapetum. Okay, tapetum. So, tapetum is a layer which is providing nourishment for the developing pollen grain. You know that pollen grain is a live structure, so it needs nourishment. So, from where it will get the nourishment? That nourishment is given by the tapetum. So, these are the 4 parts of a microsporangium. Okay, epidermis, endothecium, middle layer and tapetum. Now we are going to the third important topic of this chapter, that is megasporangium. Megasporangium is otherwise called ovule. So this is a female reproductive part because it is bearing the egg cell that is responsible for fertilization. Now we will learn what are the important parts of the megasporangium. The megasporangium consists of a stalk which is called funicle. Okay, and this funicle attached with the ovule, and what is the name of that junction, which is called hilum. So this is the hilum. So what is hilum? Hilum is the attachment between stalk and the megasporangium, that is the ovule. Now indegments. Indegments are protective layers. Okay, they are normally 3 to 4 layered. Then there is chalaza. So what is chalaza? Chalaza is the base of a ovule or the base of a megasporangium. And opposite to chalaza, there is one more end which is called micropyle. Here you can find that there is a small gap. This region is called micropyle. So why there is a small gap? Because it is the structure through which the pollen grain, okay, pollen tube is entering. Through the pollen tube, gametes are entering and the fertilization process will take place. And the fourth topic of this is the pollination. What is pollination? You are learning pollination from the lower standards. So what is the definition for pollination? Transfer of pollen grain from the male reproductive part to the female reproductive part through various agents, that is called pollination. They are of 3 types. The first one, autogamy. If this transfer is occurring within the same flower, that is called autogamy, because auto means self. So it is a type of self-pollination. Now, second one, geitonogamy. If the transfer of pollen grain that is occurring within 2 flowers of the same plant, it is called geitonogamy. It is a type of self-pollination, but it is, we can say that as the flowers are different, okay, so this is considered to be a cross-pollination also. Now, third one, xenogamy. If the transfer of pollen grain that is occurring between 2 different plants, because sometimes the plants are unisexual, they are bearing only one sex organ, then there will be male plant and there will be female plant. So if the transfer of pollen grain that is occurring between male plant to the female plant, it is called xenogamy. So these are the different types of pollination. So students, so this is the end of the session. Now it is a time for a short break. We will meet after the break. Stay tuned. Hello students, welcome back after a short break. In the last session, we completed the important topics of lesson number 2. Now we are continuing our session with 3rd chapter. Now I am going to tell you the important topics of lesson number 3. Lesson number 3 is human reproduction. This chapter is very important as far as the long answers are concerned, because in most of the examination, surely you are going to get one question from this. It may be either male reproductive system or female reproductive system. Now we are going to discuss each system in detail. First of all, I am going to discuss the first, that is the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes. Testes are the male sex organs and they are responsible for the production of sperm. They are oval in shape, and within this testes, the sperm is produced by some tubules called seminiferous tubule. Okay, so which tubules are producing sperm? That is seminiferous tubule. This seminiferous tubule that is producing the sperm, which are the male gamete, later the maturation of this sperm is taking place in a small covering around the testis, which is called epididymis. After maturation, the sperms are taken to a tube-like structure. You can see a tube-like structure. What is the name of this tube-like structure? This is called vas deferens. Later, this vas deferens, it is communicating with external genitalia, that is called the penis. But when it is passing through this penis, it is having a communication with accessory reproductive gland. So what are accessory reproductive glands? The glands which are not involved directly in the process of reproduction, but they are providing some secretion which enable the fertilization process or the reproduction process in a satisfactory way. So in the case of male reproductive system, there are mainly three accessory glands. What are they? The first one is called seminal vesicle. You can see this leaf-shaped structure. This is called seminal vesicle. Then there is the prostate gland and then bulbourethral gland. Now, what are the functions of these accessory glands? They are doing three important functions. First one, they are providing nutrition for the moving gametes. Okay, that is the sperm. Second thing, they are acting as a lubricating agent, and they are also providing viability. You know, during copulation, the male sperm, it has to move from male genital tract to female genital tract. So it has to travel a long distance. So when it is traveling, it has to maintain that viability. Okay, so that is mainly maintained by the secretions of this accessory gland. Now when we are moving to external genitalia, the external genitalia of the male, which is called mainly penis, and through this penis the semen is coming out. So what is the meaning of a semen? Semen is a combination of sperm plus secretions of the accessory gland that I already told you, that is bulbourethral gland, seminal vesicle and prostate gland. So all these things together, that is called semen. Okay, so it is saying that 1 ml of semen consists of billions of sperm. So this is the structure of the male reproductive system. Now we will learn what about the structure of the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries which are oval in shape. And where do these ovaries are present? Ovaries are present on the lower abdominal side or in the lower abdominal cavity. Now this ovary is responsible for the production of ovum. After ovum production, this is then moving to fallopian tube or oviduct. You can find this finger-like structure, this hand-like structure, that is called fallopian tube or oviduct. Now, what are the parts of the fallopian tube that can be asked for multiple choice question? The part which is close to the ovary and having finger-like extension, that is called fimbriae. Then you can find a wide part which is called infundibulum. Then another part called ampullae. Ampulla then leads to a tubular portion called isthmus. This isthmus ampulla junction is very, very important because it is the site of fertilization. That means it is the point where the male sperm fused with female ovum. So that can be asked for examination, which is the site of fertilization. So it is ampullary isthmus junction. Now this later you can find that we have the ladies, they have a pair of oviduct, okay, oviduct of both the sides which joins to form an inverted pear-like structure. What is this inverted pear-like structure? That is called uterus. You know that uterus is the structure where the fetus or the young one is growing. This uterus consists of three layers. The outermost layer, you can see this outermost layer which is called perimetrium, and the middle layer, that is called myometrium, which consists of large supply of muscles, mainly smooth muscles are present, okay, and these muscles are very important for the delivery of a baby. And the innermost layer, which is called endometrium. This endometrium, you can find that it is given red color. Why? Because it consists of a rich supply of blood capillary. And this blood capillaries are shedding during the time of menstruation. If fertilization is not happening, then only menstruation is occurring. If fertilization is occurring, then the menstruation process will be stopped. Okay? Now, so we have completed the uterus. I told you what is the shape of the uterus, which is inverted pear. Now, this uterus opens to a short canal-like structure, which is called cervix. And cervix open to cervical canal, which is called birth canal. And then it is through the birth canal, the baby is coming out through the external genitalia of a female, which is called vagina. So that about the structure of the female reproductive system. So what are the important parts? That is a pair of ovary, oviduct, uterus, then what is cervix and also vagina. So students, now it is a time for a short break. We will meet after a short break. Come back after the break. In last session, we have completed the important topics of lesson number 3. Now we are continuing our session with further chapters. So now lesson number 4, reproductive health. What are the important topics of this chapter? First one, what is reproductive health? Reproductive health means it is not only the health of the reproductive organ, it is the complete well-being of an individual in all the aspects. That means physical, emotional and social well-being of an individual. It is saying that if a society is reproductively healthy, then the future is said to be safe. Now, the second topic is what are the different methods of contraception. So, contraception is mainly aimed to prevent unwanted pregnancy. So, what are the important things you have to learn in this? There are basically 3 methods of contraception. First one natural, second one artificial and the third one surgical. Natural contraception example is lactational amenorrhea. That means a lady during her feeding time she will not be pregnant. So that method is a natural method which is called that is the natural method of contraception. Second one artificial. That means you can use certain devices, artificial devices, okay, which are inserted either into the uterus or into the penis to prevent the contraception. For example, IUD, diaphragm, condoms, all these are examples. Now, third one, surgical. We can say that surgical method of contraception is the most safest method of contraception because there is no chance of reversibility. This surgical method, there are normally two surgeries are carried out. First one, vasectomy and second one, tubectomy. In vasectomy, a small portion of the vas deferens is cut in the male and later it is tied. In tubectomy, a small portion of the fallopian tube is cut and it is tied. So this is the most safe method of the contraception. Now, the third important topic of this chapter is infertility and treatment. Now, what is infertility? If a couple is not able to produce children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation is called infertility. Nowadays it is very, very severe because you know that now the age of marriage has increased now and all of them are having tension in their life. Due to that, infertility problems are increasing day by day. So how to solve this infertility? There are different techniques. All these techniques which are useful to solve this infertility are called ART. What is the full form of ART? Assisted reproductive techniques. This will help you to give a baby if you don't have a baby after a long period of time. Now, what are the different techniques? ZIFT. What is the full form? Zygote intrafallopian transfer. In this, we are transferring zygote which is fertilized in a laboratory and inserted into the fallopian tube. Second one is called GIFT. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. Sometimes the male or female is not able to produce sufficient number of gamete, that is male gamete or female gamete, then they can use this method. Third one is called ICSI. What is ICSI? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. In some of the male, the sperm is not able to penetrate the ovum. In that condition, they can apply this method ICSI. All these methods are very, very important. You will get MCQ and this can be asked for 3 marks. Write a short note on the different methods of contraception. Now we are moving to lesson number 5, that is principles of inheritance and variation. This chapter is very, very important as far as the weightage is concerned because you will get lots of questions, but we are discussing only few topics in this session. First, I am going to tell you about monohybridization experiment. And what is monohybridization experiment? Mono means single. An experiment which is focusing on single character at a time, that is called monohybridization experiment. You know that this hybridization experiment is a part of genetics and almost all the contribution of genetics was given by Gregor Mendel, who is known as the father of genetics. So, the character selected by Mendel for his experiment was mainly the height of the plant. That is normally, he has done his experiment in a plant called garden pea or Pisum sativum. He observed that in garden pea, normally two types of heights are available. That is, some of the plants are tall and some of the plants are dwarf. But majority of the plants are showing tall. Okay, so he considered this tall as a dominant character. As only very few of them are showing dwarfness, he considered it as a recessive character. And in genetics, the dominant character should always represent with capital letter. So you can find that capital T, capital T. Okay, a character is represented by normally a pair of allele. So the capital T and capital T. So these are a pair of allele that is representing a character. Now, what about the representation of the dwarf character? Small t, because recessive character should represent in small letter. Now, so these are diploid. During gamete formation, they will segregate. So, that is the first law of Mendel, Mendel's law of segregation. That means, during gamete formation, the alleles are segregating or separating. The diploid will convert it into haploid. So, it will split into the capital T is split into T and T. The small t split into T and T. Now, what is this square? This is called Punnett square. This is an easy method for representing hybridization experiment. In this square, one side, that is mainly the left side, is representing the male character and the right side is representing female character. Okay, so I am representing male gamete. Okay, I am considering this tall as a male gamete. So I am representing male gamete, that is capital T, capital T. The number of gamete, that is deciding the number of columns in the particular table. So there are two gametes, so that's why there are two columns in the table. Now, when you go to other side, that is the female gamete. Females are dwarf. So what are the gamete? Small t, small t. Now, the fertilization. One of the gamete, male gamete, fused with a female gamete. So it will be capital T, small t. Now, another male gamete also fused with a female gamete, capital T, small t. Now, when you take second male gamete, again it is fusing. So you can find that in this particular table, all the plants are capital T, small t. Because one of the gamete from male and other from the female. So that's why all the plants are said to be heterozygous plants. What is the meaning of heterozygous? If a plant is representing two different allele, that is capital T and small t together, it is called heterozygous plant. Okay, but even though this is heterozygous, according to Mendel, when a dominant character is there, only that character will express in a generation. So all the plants are tall. Now he has done selfing. What is the meaning of selfing? He has taken another same plant, that is another capital T, small t, and he has done the crossing, and he represented this in a Punnett square. You know that when both the plants are having same genotype, so only you will get only same type of gamete. So in first side, male gamete I am writing capital T, small t. In second side, there is female gamete, capital T, small t. Do the fertilization, capital T, capital T. What is the character genotype? Okay, both of them are capital T, capital T. So what is the technical term? That is called homozygous. Now, in second type, you can find that capital T fused with small t. So capital T, small t, as they are different, they are called heterozygous. Now, take the next one, that is capital T, small t. Okay, and then the last one, small t, which is fused with other small t. That means the male gamete small t and the female gamete small t, when it is fusing, we are getting the last one, that is small t, which is homozygous recessive. Now we will analyze the phenotype and genotype. What is the meaning of phenotype? The one which is focusing on external character, that is called phenotype, and the study which deals with the genotype, that is genetic composition, it is called genotype. So the phenotype is mainly 3 plants out of the 4. You can find that 1, 2, 3. There are 3 tall plants and only 1 dwarf plant. Okay. Now genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. That is 1 capital T, 2 capital T, small t, and 1 small t. So we have completed monohybridization experiment, and in this way dihybridization experiment can also be asked. So students, this is the end of the session. Now we will meet on the next episode of Pastavanu Panchamrit.